From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. A new record today, and not a good one. 348 new confirmed COVID-19 cases across Montana, along with 4 more deaths. The numbers prompt Governor Steve Bullock to address the state. And tonight we talk one-on-one with Dr. Debra Burks from the White House, who has messages for all Montanans. Well, Montana has averaged more than 300 new COVID cases a day for the last week. The latest victims to die from COVID-related illness, residents from Sweetgrass, Glacier, Flathead, and Yellowstone counties. The official death count is now at 182. This brings the total deaths in Yellowstone County to 68, Flathead to 19, and Glacier and Sweetgrass counties each have lost 2 people. While hospitals across the state feeling the pressure from COVID cases, both medical staff and hospital leaders tonight stress the importance of following guidelines. Governor Bullock joined several chief medical officers to address the drastic rise in COVID cases. Benefis Health System in Great Falls is currently at 115% capacity. 37 patients with COVID complications, 7 of them are in the ICU. Now, the state reports supplies in the Billings area have been stressed, with days of single-digit bed capacity remaining available. Bullock says that while the system isn't overstressed yet, hospital teams are in a difficult situation as cold and flu season approaches.
Our concerning trend in cases right now should cause us all some alarm. And what's most concerning is knowing what can happen to our healthcare system if we don't get the spread of this virus under control now. We've seen it happen in other states, and there's no real reason for it to happen in Montana.
Now, Bullock recognized that words from the governor won't necessarily convince everyone to take masks and social distance seriously, but he hopes they will listen to doctors and nurses who are dealing with the virus every single day and have watched Montanans die. And if Montana's medical experts don't convince you, the White House is sending a message to Montana tonight. Today I talked with Dr. Debra Burks, the White House coronavirus response coordinator, who is watching Montana's numbers climb. She says she is very concerned. She knows people are tired, but as the virus spreads across the state and more people die, you need to plan smart, especially heading into the holidays. Any message or specific message about making your holiday plans in Montana with your families?
You know, I think this is really an important topic, and I think you're absolutely right. We have to be able to tell people how to protect the vulnerable in your family and how to protect your neighborhoods. There are ways to be physically distant but socially engaged even within a household, to have those grandparents and aunts and uncles together, but have those that are in family pods physically separated from each other at a minimum of 6 feet or more while you are eating and have your mask off. We can do this together. I know it's going to take a bit of engineering, but we're smart and creative people. I know they've got the can-do spirit out there in Montana. We can figure out our way forward and re-engineer utilizing all the rooms in our houses to keep people physically distanced in their groups, in their pods, while we come together in a physically distant way.
Now you can watch my whole interview, full interview with Dr. Burks at KTVQ.com. She also has a message for people who feel coronavirus is political. Well, last night's apartment fire killed one woman and sent another person to the hospital. Flames broke out in one room of the 3-story building at 119 North 22nd Street. Firefighters arrived on scene just before 8 o'clock and were able to get the victims out of the residence within the first 45 seconds. Unfortunately, around 1:30 this morning, officials reported a woman passed away in the hospital from severe smoke inhalation. The other victim has been released from the hospital. Officials say the fire was caused by someone smoking while using oxygen. The blaze caused about $60,000 in damages. And new details tonight surrounding a Billings man found dead in a West End house fire on Monday. Police tell us officers arrived at the scene to serve an arrest and search warrant for a sex offense investigation and found 45-year-old John Nayland III dead. The county coroner says Nayland died from smoke inhalation. Detectives also found evidence of a fire inside the residence that was several days old. Foul play is not suspected. Well, today the Yellowstone County Sheriff unveiled the county's new mobile command center. It's outfitted with the latest technology and it's all paid for with federal grant money. Q2's Mitch Laggy takes us on a tour.
The new incident response vehicle, owned by the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office, was built from the ground up with Montana law enforcement in mind. With more space inside and the latest technology, the vehicle can tackle just about anything.
This will be used for everything from crime scene investigation to search and rescue missions. We can use it for high priority, whether it be dignitary protection type matters. You know, we get the president coming to town, or we get some other high profile individual and we need some place to set up a base of operations. This is mobile. We can use it wherever we need it.
The agency was previously operating out of a converted bread truck made in 1995. The new vehicle offers much more space and functionality than its predecessor, and on top of that, it can be loaned out to other Montana law enforcement agencies for whatever situation arises.
It's also available to anybody in the eastern Montana as they might need it. We understand that a lot of the smaller counties don't have the same resources, the same equipment we have, and we're always willing to help out.
The vehicle and all of its technology was bought for a price of about $437,000. It was completely paid for with grant money from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Detectives Shane Bancroft and Frank Fritz were tasked with the grant writing process and designing the vehicle's new features with the manufacturer.
And this new unit is multi-purpose. It has a conference room and spots to not only to transport the equipment we need, but to actually process the crime scene right there, side by side, inside where we're not in the hot or the cold or the weather.
Fritz added that the vehicle should be in service to the county for up to 25 years and has the capability to advance with new technologies. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
Thanks, Mitch. And the sheriff tells us the old truck will be still used in the department to pick up the slack in town if the new vehicle is on loan elsewhere across the state. Well, citing both the lack of evidence of voter fraud and the compelling public health concerns, U.S. District Court Judge Dana Christensen is rejecting a request by Republicans to stop Montana's use of vote by mail. That decision involved the Trump campaign, Governor Steve Bullock, and groups like the League of Women Voters. The two suits challenged Governor Bullock's August directive allowing counties to run the general election entirely through the mail because of pandemic concerns. Well, Judge Christensen said the idea the election would be ripe with fraud was, quote, fiction. He also upheld Bullock's authority to issue a directive giving counties the option to vote by mail. He noted there wasn't a single case of fraud in the June primary thanks to the experience, dedication, and skill of election administrators. The judge said it would be strongly against the public interest to upset the current election in which 45 counties are planning to use vote by mail, with voters already expecting to cast ballots that way. Now, he also fears voting in person would only accelerate the number of COVID-19 cases. Well, up next on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, from something as big as RVs to something as small as tents, the camping business is currently booming. We'll tell you why. And in sports, Scott checks in with Q2's Athletes of the Week, who are ready to tee off in tomorrow's State A golf tournament and defend the title.
And coming up in weather, remember the smoky skies we had a few days ago? Well, guess what? It's coming back. We'll tell you all about it coming up in a few more minutes.